So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wham Fishing, guys. Today, 4th of July, rocking my red, white, and blue. It's not the flag, but still red, white, and blue. Out here, kind of got out here a little bit before the chaos starts. I feel like it's gonna get a little crazy this afternoon. So I'm out here doing some offshore fishing. I'm gonna go over. You know, a lot of people have been asking for like side scan, tutorials and things like that. I'm not the greatest at explaining it. I can go over like what I think everything looks like and how I perceive everything on there. There is another good YouTube channel, a guy Fish the Moment. He's really good at breaking down side scan and stuff like that and going through there. So y'all can check him out. But I'm gonna go through a little bit of this as I'm out here today. So obviously, I said it a minute ago, but I run casting rings. So on mine, so 50 feet, 100 feet, 150 feet. So each ring is 50 feet out, and that just helps me range like how far away I am from any given waypoint. So I know that I can usually cast to about 75, 80 feet. So I know I can cast into this range. If I get a really good downwind, I can hit near 100. But that just helps me tell, like, hey, if I'm fishing this waypoint right here, I almost can't reach it from where I'm sitting. From right here, I almost can't reach that waypoint. I need to move a little bit closer. So, and I also like to get downwind of it, because that way, right now the wind's coming this direction. So the wind is coming up the lake. So I like to get like over here. That way I'm casting upwind of bringing that bait to them. So if I catch a fish or anything, I can drift backwards. So this is kind of kayak relevant here. I can drift backwards, and I'm not going to get blown onto the fish or anything like that. If I hook one, I'm just going to drift backwards and not going to spook the school if they're just sitting there. And it's going to help me, it's going to help me coming into the wind. I can pinpoint a little bit more. I'm not, I'm on this side. Whenever I was on this side just a minute ago, going with the wind, I'm casting, I'm drifting forward. I set the hook on a fish, and I immediately have to start backpedaling. And as I'm backpedaling, the wind is catching me, and I'm kind of turning off to the side and going back this way. So just kind of coming up into the wind, facing the wind if I can. That's going to help. That usually helps me quite a bit. Got fish breaking over here. Got fish breaking everywhere out here. So that usually helps me a little bit line up on these spots. And let's see if we can go over. I'm gonna go over these fish right here. See if I can show y'all what I'm looking at as far as the side scan goes. And I know everybody has a different side scan. Sorry, I'm blinding everybody. I know everyone has a different side scan. I'm running the humminbird version. So I'd say I've run Lowrance. It's fairly similar. Haven't done anything with Garmin yet. But right now, so we've got our side scan screen, and I've got it set to 90 feet. So what we got right here, does look like there's a couple fish out there. Those little shadows are fish off to the side. I've got some rocks right here on the bottom. Looks like there's a big school of fish on this flat right now. So let me answer that right quick. I'll get back with you. I didn't know if those are bass or not. Those do be bass. Those are bass. There's a school of bass down there. Okay. Oh man, look at them go. Every time there's a boat wake, the fish start schooling out here. And today being July 4th, oh my gosh. Oh. Today being July 4th, it's gonna be a little nuts. It's gonna be a little nuts out here. That's the only thing I don't like about the spoon is they swallow it. Why do y'all swallow this thing like that? Look at all of them down there. Look at all of them go right there. We're gonna do a little class later today on finding fish on side scan. Oh, we're gonna do a little class on finding fish on side scan right now. I'm doing that mock tournament. Mock fishing tournament. Catch as many fish, oh man, as many fish as possible for a month. As many fish as possible for a month. I'll be submitting fish, doing all kinds of fun stuff out here. It seems like there's a big school of them right there. Seems like there's a good school of them right there, so bloop. One fish on the board, I think. Ooh, that's not good. First cast of the day. Oh, first cast of the day, got one on the board. I think that's usually bad luck, but we will see out here. So we've got a point. We've got a point right here. These fish are actually on the sharper drop side of the point. So it kind of tapers off flatter on that side, and this side it drops off a little bit steeper. I marked a little school whenever I came over them. I've never found them in this, never found them here before. So this is kind of something new. I fished this point a ton. I've never found these fish on this spot, so, or at least on this side of it normally. But every single time, every year, every time you come out here is a little bit different, so never know what you're gonna find. We're just chucking the old flutter and spoon. Not the greatest thing for them, because it fires the school up and makes them excited, and they start swimming all over the place and scatters everything. There he is. It tends to scatter the school quite a bit whenever you throw a flutter spoon. Oh, is that a bass? I feel the spoon waving. Oh yeah. So we're in 2 for 2 casts here. 2 for 2 casts here. I don't know how you got that thing like that. I don't know how in the world you got that thing like that. And these fish for this mock tournament had to be 14 inches. I feel like I'm gonna be taking a lot of pictures today. It's gonna be a busy day. Be a long day. Fish doing this. Oh well. Kind of saw that one coming. Kind of saw that one coming a mile away. All right, and we back. All right, so we're going across this point here with our side scan, and hopefully y'all can see it. Hopefully we're not getting the interference from the like refresh rate or anything, but like, you know, rock on the bottom right there. I'm trying to go by this school here. So whenever I'm looking for fish and stuff like that, if I'm trying to find fish on my side scan, see these right here, those are fish. This is I actually just went right over the middle of them. So big school of fish right across here. And how I can tell is they're not perfectly sitting on the bottom. You kind of, oh gosh, we're zooming all over the place. See how like this right here, hopefully y'all can see it. There's a light spot and then there's a shadow underneath it. There's a light spot and a shadow underneath it. Light spot, shadow underneath it. So it's not perfectly sitting on the bottom. So, you know, this is the light spot, there's the shadow. This is the light spot, there's the shadow. So it's a little bit easier over here. A little bit easier to see over here. It's just, it takes a lot of getting used to and looking at, but so those are fish, you know, light spot, let's go over a rock pile. I know there's a little pile of rocks and stuff out here. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. Plus, those are a little bit longer. I'm hoping it's not too blurry. Plus, they're a little bit on the long side. So you know, you don't see too many like long, skinny rocks out there in the world. At least around here. Probably if you go up to the rivers and stuff like that, you'll see some long, skinny rocks. But like, you're not going to see elongated. You always hear rice grain shaped. So kind of long, skinny tube looking things. You're not going to see too much of that just in the natural world on the bottom. So that's what I'm looking for. Whenever I'm going around, I'm saying, hey, these are fish. I'm seeing a school of fish down here. I'm seeing those long thin shapes, you know, the lighter spot above the shadowy spot. Let's see. There is a rock pile over here. It's gonna come up on my left. It's gonna come up on my left side. So again, we've got the school of fish right here. You know, there's little light spots over shadows, and there's actually a big school over there. Big school of fish off to this side. So there's a ton of fish out here on this point right now. And where's our rock pile? So this is a stump. You can kind of see it sticks up off the bottom, and these are rocks. So they look kind of similar to the fish, but they're not off the bottom a little bit. They're mostly round. They're small light specks. I know those are rocks. I've scanned them a million times out here. You know, they're not long. They're perfectly round. You know, if it's anything alive, it's a group of turtles sitting on the bottom. Like it can't really be fish. So whenever I'm going around, that's generally what I'm looking for, is those, you know, slender off the bottom stuff like that. There's another stump right there. So we've got another stump right here, and you know, obviously this right here, this is the fish, that's the shadow. This is the fish, that's the shadow. So there's a school of fish right over here somewhere. I'm going over them right now. So tons of fish all over this point. So it's a lot of going around looking at your side scan. You know, if you see a mark, casting at it, you know, throwing something at it you're pretty confident with to get bit, and then, you know, you fish for a little bit and go, hey, that's a fish. That mark right there that I just saw, I threw a lure at it and I caught something. That was probably a fish. So let's see how I'm gonna set up on these fish over here. So how I usually set up on them, looks like there's a couple more fish around. There's a couple more fish, you know, a little bit longer profile, all those, and then active school of fish right here. And wow, there's actually there's a ton of fish. Oh my gosh, there's a ton of them right there too. Man, there's fish everywhere out here. I mark them red whenever it's today, but tons of fish out here. Again, rice grain shaped, long slender stuff. And wow, I really wish that I had my anchor. So these right here, those could be rocks, they could be fish. It looks like they're sitting, you know, if I zoom in, it looks like a couple of them are off. Like this one right here is up off the bottom, and the shadows, you know, the shadow is probably a foot underneath it, so that's probably a school of fish there. Looks like there's, like, yeah, so it looks like we've got a drop. Looks like the bottom drops off and gets a little bit, you know, bottom drops, and there's fish are sitting down there. And how I like to set up on them. Oh, there we go. How I like to set up on these fish is, so the wind is blowing this direction, so wind is blowing straight towards me from that spot. So I'm going to go up at it. I'm going to go up towards it. I'm going to throw the camera on here in just a second. So right now my casting ring's telling me I'm about 100 feet away, 90 feet away, 80 feet away, and we'll throw this thing on. We'll back up a little bit because I'm getting kind of close. And you know, it doesn't need a super long cast for 60, 70 feet. You don't need to like bomb cast it out there, but you know, that's where I marked the school earlier. And I don't want to get too much closer than, there's fish swimming over there. I don't want to get too much closer than 50 feet. Any more like that, then I'm right on top of them. So I did mark. Just got hit right there. So I'm kind of just floating right here, you know, 60, 70 feet off. That school of fish is pretty much right in front of me. And I'm just chucking straight out the front of the boat. You know, 4 or 5 boat lengths. The boat's 13 feet long, 4 or 5 boat lengths. It's gonna be about 60, 70 feet, well, 60 feet. And just kind of using that to range. And the nice thing is whenever it's windy, it's gonna keep you lined up pretty well. So you can sit there and just cast straight in front of the boat, drift backwards, and you can there it is, and reline yourself up with that school of fish if you need to. So, kind of little guy. Oh man, realized he was hooked. So that was that school of fish that we went over a little bit ago. And, whew. That school of fish that we went over a little bit ago. Just throwing a little Demiki vault bottom, you know, just a little vibration bait. Super heavy rattle trap, pretty much. Looks like a little shad. So that's how I'm using it to whenever I'm, you know, just casting at a school of fish. If I want to use it like side scan, well, not side scan. If I want to use it, I've said, like, you know, I've used it like active target and stuff like that before. I'll get up next to the fish. If I want to watch them in real time, I'll get up next to the fish, and here's my school of fish. It's directly off to my right, pretty much where the waypoint is. And what I'll do is, you know, my transducer is sitting right here, so perpendicular from the boat. If I line up the kayak, you know, with these black marks that I'm seeing, if I line it up right there, all I've got to do is cast that direction right out there, casting at these marks that I'm seeing. This is how I like to crank, really, because I know there's fish right there. I can see them. You can see the black marks there. So I know there's a school of fish there. And those black marks that I'm seeing go by on side scan are the fish in that school. And, you know, 40 feet away, 50 feet away, I know that those fish are right there. See, there's a fish out there at about 80 feet. So if I trace that line straight that direction, right there, that's where those fish should be. So I'm not seeing the fish in real time, but I'm seeing the fish more or less as they're crossing the sonar beam. So I know where they're at, and I'll do that cranking. I'll do that when I crank a lot, is I'll get 90 degrees from these fish. That way I'm not throwing a crankbait, because the crankbait is going to pull me towards them. All right, y'all, so about halfway through the day, I've had the camera off a good chunk of the day. I was concentrating on trying to catch as many of these fish as possible, and I have caught some fish. I have got fish slime. My thumbs are chewed up. Let's see how many I've caught. Let's see, it's actually killing my phone. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 17. It puts up the 17, the last 17 fish that you've caught. So I've got 17 fish on there right now. I think I've caught more than that. I know I've caught more than that because I've caught some short fish. The minimum size is 14. But it's just fish after fish after fish. It started to slow down a little bit. And as you can see, this is my waypoint right there. I've been hanging off of it. I've been hanging 60, 75 feet off of it. you know, just casting to it just based on how the wind is. And let's see if our fish are still there. See if our fish buddies are still there. The school, I know they're still there. I know they've probably broken up quite a bit because I've been sitting here catching them. And yeah, looks like they've scattered a little bit. The wind changing direction probably moved them. There's a couple fish right over here. That's a stump. Oh, they're there. There they are. Okay, so there's still some fish over there. And then we've got a couple over here, but like I was saying, you can see there's a little white speck right there, and then the shadow. A little white speck right there, and then the shadow. That tells me that they're fish, not rocks. The rocks are going to be, you know, sucked down to the bottom. No real shadows or anything like that. So yeah, I've gone past it. Actually went over the little rock pile that's out there. I was looking for the rock pile. See if we could differentiate the rocks from the fish. So returning. We get back out there, so this side's going to sweep a lot faster than this side. This side's going to get stretched a little bit. This side, so it looks like we've got there's still a couple of fish in that school from this morning over there. But overall, it really looks like the school's broken up. So you can see everything's not seeing a ton of stuff around. We are still seeing a couple fish here, fish there. And what we're looking at is the nice bright return means it's a hard bottom. Those are rocks. Those are rocks. They're not streaking or anything like that. There's little round specks sitting on the bottom. So that's our little rock pile right there. They're not long. They're not off the bottom. They're stuck down to the bottom. So we've got this lighter area right here, hard bottom, hard return. This is where the point either tapers off or it's a soft bottom. In this case, I know it tapers off over there. So this is the drop right here. It starts to slope down a little bit into 20 and stuff like that. So that's the end of the point. These fish have kind of been sitting right up on top of that drop, ambushing bait as they've been getting washed this way. So yep, those look like some rocks. You can see it's a little square. It's on the bottom, square on the bottom. So no fish there. And we'll go around it here a little bit and see if that school may be moved. But I think after 2 or 3 hours sitting here catching these fish, I've really broken them up and they've started to scatter. All right, y'all. So one more thing. So I know y'all have heard me mention the Thermocline, the barrier between the cold water on the bottom that doesn't have oxygen and the warm water on top that does have oxygen. Those fish try and ride the line. They stay as close to the cool water as they can. They obviously can't go down into it for too long because they'll suffocate. But how do you find that? So I've got 2 ways. It's either through my regular 2D sonar. Let's see if it'll show up. Not fantastic. Not great. Let's try it on the regular down image. There it is. So there it is right there. That line right there at about 13-14 feet. So out here where I am in the middle of the lake, that's where your Thermocline's set at. So you're not going to see any really bait fish down here. You're going to see bait fish. That's where you're seeing all your bait fish right there riding that line. So they're trying to stay cool, but they can't go too far down. So that means that's kind of the activity level. You got a couple more fish right there. That's the activity level for the fish in the lake. So what I want to look for are flats, structure, cover, anything that's just a pinch above that. Anything that's up there in that 13-14 foot of water, preferably like a flat that's 14 feet that drops off to 15 on a couple sides. That way the fish can kind of sit on top of that and still get cool water washing over him. So while I'm out here going around, I'm looking every time I launch the kayak, I'm looking for that, especially in the summertime. look for that thermocline, and then adjust accordingly on that. I'll fish different pieces of structure and stuff like that based on how high or low it goes. If you get a really bad storm or something come through, like hurricane comes through, it'll stir the whole lake up and you won't have a thermocline. But we haven't had any serious weather systems other than little pop-up thunderstorms out here recently, so it's starting to kind of settle down and stack up at that 15-foot mark. So that's where I've been finding all my fish today. You know, been throwing. Caught fish on everything. Yeah, caught fish on everything out here. Crankbaits, wobbleheads, football jig, hair jig, shaky shake, caught a ton of fish. Spoon caught a bunch of fish. Spoon and crankbait caught the bigger fish. Those active fish were chasing shad and stuff like that. So overall, I think I caught like 36, 37 fish. I don't even know. I'm at like 500 inches of fish. Like kayak disaster is a disaster zone of fish and slime, and I got fish and slime all over me. I got fish blood all over me. Kind of a hot mess here. Let's see, where are we at on the old fishing chaos. Y'all, if y'all want to get in on this with me, it's free tournament, doesn't cost anything. So right there, 545 inches, pretty decent day. And those are the fish that I've caught today. So if I could come out here and do this like every day, I would blow this tournament away. But I'm only gonna be able to fish like 3 or 4 days this month, like this month. So it's fun to be in the lead the first couple of days of the month. Hopefully it holds up. It's a free tournament. It's a free tournament. They give you a $200 gift card for the top 10, like a $500 gift card for the first place. So I'm going fishing anyway. Might as well sign up for it. So I've got one or two more spots, so we'll check. Hopefully none of these pop-up storms decide to roll this way, but I'll be pretty close to the boat ramp. So by the time this comes out, it will be after the 4th of July, of course. Hope everyone had a happy 4th of July. Hopefully you still have all your fingers, not being out there doing crazy stuff, blowing stuff up. So we'll check one more spot. Look at that thermocline. Boom, right there. Right across there. So go to your down image, go to your sonar, crank sensitivity all the way up, and it'll generally pop out pretty quickly on that. So one more spot. Almost there. I'm beat. I've been out here for 11 hours. So 11 hours in 95-degree heat will wear you down. So got a little bit longer to go. Almost there.